Welcome back, everybody. It has been several weeks since I've had a video out. I apologize for that. There was a couple weeks where the weather didn't match up with my schedule too good. Then I had a little accident with my leg, unrelated to paramotoring, but it kind of kept me from flying for about a week. And then had another week of interesting weather. So it's been like a month since I've had a video out. But for just a few minutes, I want to talk about something that happened to me about a month ago now at one of my previous flights. I was coming in to land at a friend's property, and I had just a little bit of a bumpy landing, and it stirred up some gravel. I was kind of landing near a gravel driveway, and it chipped my propeller. I had to send it in for repair. It got me to thinking about, I was trying to rehearse in my head what really happened, because at the time I couldn't really figure it out. And the best I can recall through my memories and stuff of what happened and what maybe caused that was when I come into land. See, you're supposed to be, at least when you start out flying, because it's, I guess, the beginner way of landing, once you get, I don't know, probably 50 feet from the ground, you're supposed to lift your hands up completely. That allows the glider to reach its maximum speed, and then that way when you come into land and you pull your brakes, you're able to flare with more energy, and it's just, that's kind of how you come in for a smooth landing. And what had happened, again, the best I can remember, and I didn't realize it, but I was holding pressure instead of lifting my hands up. And what that caused to happen when I came into land and I went to flare, I didn't have all of that energy, and so I come in pretty hot. Of course, I pretty much stood it up, but it was enough for me just to stir up some gravel. The bottom of my cage might have bumped very momentarily against the ground, didn't damage anything except the prop. But again, after the fact, I realized that it was because I hadn't let go. I've preached a few times, I guess, about this before, but I really wanted to emphasize for just a few moments this afternoon the importance of letting go of certain things. I'm kind of preaching to myself here, and what I see is that sometimes if we're not careful, we will hold on to things in life. It can be little things, it can be big things. I'm reminded of that very popular scripture that talks about, lay aside every weight and sin which does so easily beset us, and how that there's an importance that we let go of the things that hinder us, that hold us back, that maybe we don't even realize that it's causing us harm. See, when I was flying with that brake pressure, I didn't even realize that I was holding on to it, and it didn't cause me any problems while I was flying. But it was when I went to land and I needed that extra pressure that I noticed that there was an issue. See, sometimes God will be telling us, let go of this, let go of this. You need to let go of that. It's not good for you. And, we'll try to reason in our minds, and we'll try to think to ourselves, well, I'm doing just fine with holding on to it, just like I was doing just fine flying and still holding on to that. But see, when the time came for me to land, there was an issue. See, if we hold on to the things that God would have us let go of, we might be okay right now, but there will come a time and there will come a place where we're not okay. There's always a reason when God asks us to do something. A lot of times we can't see the reasoning. A lot of times we can't figure it out. A lot of times, I guess, it seems unnecessary or maybe wasteful. But God always has a purpose, and God always has a reason. And what we have to make sure that we do, and what we have to make sure that we are always faithful to do, and it is hard as a Christian to do it sometimes. Again, speaking from personal experience, but we have to be faithful to let go of those things that God is asking us to let go of. Because I promise you, there is always a reason. There's always something in God's foresight that He sees that oftentimes we can't see, And there is a reason why he wants us to get rid of those things. God is not going to withhold any good thing from us. And a lot of times, you know, we'll be holding on to things and we will think that they're good things and they might be enjoyable things. You know, I'm reminded about how that there is pleasure in sin for a season. And sin does not always pay out immediately. Preached a message about that about a week or two ago, about how the payday for sin is not immediate. I heard a preacher one time talk about how that if sin's payday was immediate, people wouldn't be sinning. But because sin oftentimes takes a while to cultivate, takes a while to grow, just like a plant that you, a seed that you plant in your garden or in your field, you know, oftentimes it takes an extended period of time for that to come to full maturity. But if that thing is not dealt with, if that thing is not addressed, if that thing is not given to God, it will cause us problems spiritually. I can promise you that you might be, quote, you know, doing okay right now with holding on to it, but there will come a time and there will come a place where God might have you to do something, or you might be required of something, and you're not going to be able to do that. At least you're not going to be able to do it the best with holding on to what you're holding on to. So with that, I would just say, always be ready. You know, the reason that I was holding on to that was because I was distracted. I wouldn't go as far as saying I was trying to show off for anybody, but I was distracted by the people that were on the ground, and because of that, I didn't realize what I was holding on to. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but here pretty soon, I don't know if it'll be a paramotor message or not, but I'm going to preach about decoys and the distraction that decoys can cause. You know, I was thinking about how that because I was distracted, problems happen. If we get distracted as Christians, bad things can happen from it. So I would just challenge us, be faithful, to be diligent, be on guard, don't get distracted, and if God asks something of us, just let go of it. Just raise your hands, let Him have it, and that way when the time comes for you to do something that He wants you to do, you'll be able to do it. So until next time, may God bless you. Paramotor Preacher out.